This is the CJ Silas Show. She's been talking sports for over half her life. You'll hear big-name guests and all the hot topics. Her roller derby sisters call her Dodge Her Blue. CJ's proud of her California roots and time in New York. Born and raised in L.A., college at USC and Syracuse University. She's not afraid to share her opinions with you. And, like it or not, she wants to be the change. Ladies and gentlemen, all ears and no mask required. Here she is, CJ Silas.
Hey, welcome in live and direct from the ESPN Radio 1280 AM and FM 101.7 studios of The Ticket. It is CJ Silas on the CJ Silas Show live from San Luis Obispo. I was just looking at my interns, and I realized how fortunate I am to have so many interns. When I was on the Dave Congleton Show on Monday, which would never have happened without the interns, he said, how many interns do you have? And why did you have an intern send me this letter? I'm like, well, my interns are super smart. They're driven. They're tenacious. And they want things to get done. And he goes, how many interns do you have? And I'm like, AJ, Rachel, Amanda, Gabe, Angeliki, Lauren, Mark. I think I forgot one. I said 6. I have 7. He says, just for 1 hour? I said, you don't realize what we juggle on the CJ Silas Show. We juggle the show, research, the 10-year anniversary, best of the CJ Silas Show, a YouTube channel, all social media accounts. And this 10-year anniversary is bigger than you might think. I could not do it myself. We've got a New Times ad. We've got one intern is getting us. I think KSBY is doing a big thing on us tomorrow. Dave Congleton had us on the show Monday. Last week I was on. It just the marketing from 19, 20, and 21-year-old kids is blowing my mind. And then I need people to work the party. I don't want to pay anyone. I need interns to pour the wine. I need interns to bust the tables. I need interns to change the garbage and wash the wine glasses when the event's over. Okay, I'm being funny. But Congleton is like, and thank you, by the way, to KVC Radio and Dave Congleton, who have supported me for years. Whenever they have a sports story they want to talk about, they've been calling me. King Harris was there for a long time. They've been so good to me. And Dave had me on his show on Monday for an hour. And I don't know if you listened to it, fam, but he was like, the intern thing came up a lot. He's jealous of you. He's jealous of the interns. And now I have 2 more intern prospects. And I didn't expect to start the show with my interns, but after 10 years, I cannot imagine doing the show alone. I mean, God forbid all of a sudden interns don't want to work at my show. I don't know what I do. I don't have time to do everything they do. And I don't know how to do everything they do. So I just wanted to start the show the week of Valentine's Day, giving love to my interns because they're just blowing my mind. And I know that some interns come through this show and they don't follow into a career in sports, but I know one of our interns just got a job as a producer at KSBY. We have an intern that works for the Sacramento Kings, one at the New York Mets, one at the San Diego Padres, one who runs events in Seattle. I mean, really, we try to launch you into this world successfully, but when you come in and you're as pumped up and active and energized as the interns are now, I can't do anything but be energized myself. And last week, putting Gabe on the air was one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made, but a lot of people thought it was pretty darn good. Did you plan that to put the No. And he's never getting on the air again. Oh, maybe the last day of his tenure on the seat. He's looking at the mic. He's trying to get me to turn on. No time. We have a big show. I want to give you my Super Bowl thoughts. Jenny Condon, head coach of the Cal Poly softball team, will be in studio for her. She always comes in at the beginning of the season, and she didn't come in last week. It was just a lot going on with Super Bowl. We don't usually have Super Bowl on the same weekend as Cal Poly softball opening its season. I don't like that extra game because it messes up the NFL schedule. It messes everything up. I'm going to have to call the NFL. Not that they want to hear from me because they know how much I don't like them as an entity, though I do like the product on the field and the players. It's just the rest of them. In fact, I think I said something very disparaging about the NFL owners on Dave Congleton's show this week. It wasn't good, but it's how I feel. Jenny Condon's going to join us. DJ BrothaC and Dottie May Doomsday are going to be in studio from the SLORoll Community Initiative. It's this incredible thing that was created. There are good things that have happened since the pandemic, and this is one of them. It's a bunch of people that had a lot of nothing to do when the pandemic hit. Some people didn't even have work from home. And the only thing that was safe was to be outside and do things active. And there was no place to skate. There were skate parks, but no place to play some music and skate and learn tricks. Because at skate parks, when you're in roller skates or you're on a scooter, they're smaller. And you can't get in the kind of practice that you want. And when you're skating in circles like we have in the old school roller rink days, you can't do that at a skate park. So there was nowhere. And with pickleball coming on so strong and big, there's a fight over hard court spaces that are big enough for people to skate. And there's been a lot of fights. So there were a few more people, but they're the two of the founders. They created SLORoll, and we'll talk all about it. And it's really about community, creating awareness and locations for music, community, diversity, acceptance, equality, and fun. And love. Really, it's all about coming from your heart in a pair of skates, on a scooter, rollerblades, roller skates, whatever it may be, all ages. It's really, really cool, and it happens once a month, and they'll be in studio, as well as Jenny Condon to talk about her 2022 campaign with the Mustangs. I've asked every coach this from Cal Poly, every single one that's been on the show over the past 2 years, how's it going with the pandemic? How are the kids staying in shape? Well, now we're looking back at nearly 2 years, because next month it'll be 2 years of the pandemic. And Jenny's one of the coaches that'll be in right here, right now, right around that milestone, which is not even, milestone's a positive word. The recognizing that the pandemic's been almost 2 years. What does 2022 look like for her and her squad, assuming they're probably going to get in a full season and keep everyone, all the players, all the women on the team healthy? We'll talk about that. Cal Poly baseball season starts this weekend. And I have 2 tickets to give away. 1 pair of tickets for Saturday's 4 o'clock game against Pac-12's University of Washington. All you have to do is email me, CJ at the CJ Silas Show. We'll put your name in the hopper, and we'll pick out every weekend this season. I'm going to give away a pair of my personal VIP Crew Cook Clubhouse tickets. And you have to behave, because it says my name on the ticket. So if you're going to come and you're not going to behave, don't even try to win the tickets. The 2022 Winter Olympics are happening right now, and a lot of people either are watching them and it's quiet, they're watching them and they're not talking about it. I have some highlights. I'm not sure I agreed with the Olympics in 2020 happening last year in Tokyo. I'm not sure I agree with them going on right now in China just because of the safety with the pandemic. But there are experts, scientists, medical professionals, people a lot smarter than me making those decisions. And so we're having an Olympics right now. I got to watch over the weekend Kaylee Humphreys dominating the monobob. Do you know what the monobob is? It's the first. It's actually an awful word, monobob. It shouldn't be the name of an Olympic event, monobob. Everyone always teased curling. I think curling, the sport, you can maybe tease, but name of sport, monobob. That's the new one. The monobob is a bobsled with one person. So I guess mono, right? The Latin is mono is one, I think, or solo. Okay, so that's probably what it is. It's short for mono bobsled. Mono bobsled. One bobsled, one person in the sled. And I don't think there are any breaks. I'm pretty sure. Kaylee Humphreys and Alana Myers-Taylor both dominated in the inaugural event. And it was just so fun to watch. And they're both rivals. In fact, Alana Myers-Taylor had COVID and literally came out of quarantine just in time to compete. And they have been literally trying to get a second bobsled category for women. And they wanted it to be a 4-woman, but that's not happened. Instead, we got the monobob. But they did win 2 medals. And this is the first time that a woman the age of 37 won an Olympic bobsled medal. And Alana Myers-Taylor's 37 years old. Humphreys is only 36, and she was one of the greatest bobsled pilots in history. And they had to go head-to-head, which probably a little bit of a rivalry for sure on the ice then. Erin Jackson, a friend of the CJ Silas show, became the first black woman to win an Olympic speed skating medal, claiming Team USA's 6th gold in the 500-meter this weekend. She's the world number 1 in the event. She failed to make the top 2 in the U.S. trials, but Brittany Bowe, her teammate, stepped aside for her good friend, although she ended up racing as well because of another nation gave up one of their spots. Jackson said of Bowe afterwards, having her as a teammate and a mentor has been amazing. On her victory, she said, it's like a dream come true. She wouldn't have predicted this even a year ago. And remember, the reason Erin Jackson's been on the CJ Silas show is because she's a roller derby girl, too. And she won a gold medal. And the U.S. won the inaugural mixed team snowboard cross competition 2 days after winning their first Olympic mixed team aerialist event. USA snowboard cross version came up, and oldies Lindsay Jacobellis and Nick Baumgartner, with a combined age of 76, showed their younger rivals that they could win. It was really, really cool. So those are my U.S. Olympic highlights from Beijing Winter 2022. Straight into Black history, Frederick Douglass, born February of 1818, an African-American social reformer, abolitionist, orator, writer, and statesman. After Douglass escaped from slavery in Maryland, he became a national leader of the abolitionist movement in Massachusetts, New York. He became famous for his incisive anti-slavery writings. He was described by abolitionists in his time as a living counterexample to slaveholders' arguments that the slaves lacked the intellectual capacity to function as independent American citizens. Douglass believed in dialogue and in making alliances across racial and ideological divides. He also wanted to make amends and at least close the gap in the liberal values of the U.S. Constitution. Douglass became the first African-American nominated for Vice President of the United States. Frederick Douglass, 1818. Bob Marley, we celebrated him last week. He was born on February 6th, a Jamaican singer, songwriter, musician, and activist, civil rights pioneer. He considered one of the pioneers not just of reggae music, but of civil rights and equality. His musical career was marked by elements of reggae, ska, and rocksteady, as well as his distinctive vocal and songwriting skills. Incredible songwriting skills. Over the course of his career, Bob Marley became known as a Rastafari icon. He infused his music with a sense of spirituality. Also, he was considered a global symbol of Jamaican music, culture, and identity. He, of course, was also controversial in his outspoken support for social reforms. In 1976, he survived an assassination attempt at his home, and it was politically motivated. Everybody thought he did die young of an issue with one of his toes, and he was way too young. He supported the legalization of marijuana and advocated for Pan-Africanism. Bob Marley. Rosa Parks, born in February on the 4th in 1913, an American activist in the civil rights movement, best known for her pivotal role in the Montgomery bus boycott. The U.S. Congress honored her as the First Lady of Civil Rights and the Mother of the Freedom Movement. December 1st, 1955, in Montgomery, Alabama, she rejected a bus driver because he ordered her to vacate a row of 4 seats in the colored section in favor of white passenger once the white section was filled. She was not the first person to resist bus segregation, but the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, believed she was the best candidate for seeing through a court challenge after her arrest for civil disobedience and violating Alabama segregation laws. She helped inspire the black community to boycott buses in Montgomery for over a year. She became an international icon of resistance. She organized and collaborated with civil rights leaders, including Edgar Nixon and Martin Luther King Jr. Black History every week on the CJ Silas Show. We continue to support brown and black people throughout not just sports, athletics, but also in the civil rights movement, music, arts, history, every week on the CJ Silas Show. I did want to mention the NBA All-Star Game this weekend. I do love the new format with the rosters being picked. This time it's Kevin Durant and Team LeBron. Team LeBron starters, Giannis, Giannis, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, LeBron, and Nikola Jokic. The Durant team is made up of Kevin Durant, who can't play because he's injured, Joel Embiid, John Morant, Jason Tatum, Andrew Wiggins, and Trae Young. It will be fun to see some of these guys play. I do want to thank my partners who are helping me to succeed in this chair since 2012. We will be celebrating 10 years next month on the CJ Silas Show. They include, from the beginning, Dennis, Dr. Daniel Lapidus, and Larry Ackerman. From the beginning, Brad Kurgis at Brad Kurgis Dermatology in Templeton. From the beginning, California Fresh Markets. Michael Moore Sports Recovery, the Avila Bay Athletic Club and Spa. Joy, a juice and smoothie shop, the Health Bar in Shell Beach. California Fresh Markets, always the best place to shop. They've got their salad and soup bars back up and running, their olive bar and their wing bar. Their deli is amazing. They make the best tamponade around. It is the CJ Silas Show on ESPN Radio. If you can't listen to the show live, please check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, not much longer. We're going to swap out. We're going to get rid of Twitter, and we're going to bring in TikTok. And, of course, the YouTube channel, which I'm not going to call new because it's over a year old, the CJ Silas Show. You can always find it all on my website, thecjsilasshow.com. Jenny Condon, head coach of the Cal Poly Mustangs softball team. She'll be in studio after this. It's the CJ Silas Show on ESPN Radio, 1280 AM and FM 101.7, The Ticket.
We're back with the CJ Silas Show on ESPN Radio, 1280. Here's CJ.
Welcome back to the CJ Silas Show. This segment is brought to you by Dennis, Dr. Daniel Lapidus, and Larry Ackerman, 805-543-7993. I have a temporary crown on right now that they gave me last week, so I'm chewing on one side until I get the full-on crown, which is not awesome, but they're the best. And they make me laugh even when there's lots of tools in my mouth, which is so freaking weird. She does this every year at the beginning of the season, and we realized before you got here, Jenny Condon, that the reason you weren't here last week is because your season opened the same weekend as the Super Bowl, which never has happened before. Usually it's a week before the Super Bowl. I don't like the 17th game. It messes up everybody's schedule.
I don't like it either.
I don't like it. I mean, and like Roger Goodell's going to listen to me when I talk so bad about him all the time. He's not going to, oh yeah, that CJ Silas in San Luis Obispo that thinks I'm such a great boss. No. Welcome in.
Thanks for having me.
Is this year 18 for you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy, huh?
And I think I should know that because you got here right. Like I was at Cal Poly for 1 year before I met you, and here's the new softball coach. She is the head coach of the Cal Poly Mustangs, 3 Big West Conference Coach of the Years, 3 Big West titles, the most successful coach in Mustang softball history. With all of those accolades, with those compliments, is it hard, even though those positive things happen to you, the pandemic, I'm guessing it makes you forget all those good things that happened because it's been so difficult. How are you holding up?
Good. I mean, the kids have been so good and so resilient, and they just have really, what's in it for us, what's going to happen with us today, and they've just rolled with it. So, it feels almost like it's back to normal, but there's still, COVID protocols and different things. One of the players in the tournament last weekend, they landed from wherever. They don't tell us who it was, but tested positive. So it just kind of throws it, so it's still out there and people are still, being impacted by it. But for the most part, we've done a good job and we're just rolling with whatever comes our way.
That's amazing. 2 years ago, you were probably in the studio and we were talking about the 2020 season. The pandemic hadn't hit yet. And then abruptly it ends before it really even starts. You were like a month in. And then last year, it was sporadic at best. Like, what are you going to do? What can you do? How can you do it? And I'm guessing, and I say this and ask all the coaches at Cal Poly, any coach that I talk to, that these will probably be the 2 hardest years of your career because you're not just coaching softball, which is already hard because you're dealing with teenagers and you're dealing with injuries and other coaches and scheduling. But now, with this new component in, I kind of am guessing that 2023 is going to be a breeze.
Well, I hope so.
Right.
But after 2 years, it almost just feels like we don't. It's almost just kind of normal in what we do, and what sort of drama is going to happen today and who's going to have a meltdown, and whether it's coaches or players or someone on campus, who knows? We just have to kind of expect anything and just be ready for it.
The kids need you to be their support. Obviously, the assistant coaches need you to be their support because you're the boss, right? You're the head honcho. Who do you look to for support in the athletic department?
My coaches have been great, and honestly, the kids have really been. Yeah, it's like we just kind of rally up together, and it's us against the world. So we just have formed our little bubble, and we just do our thing.
You make it work. You just have to.
Yeah.
She's the head coach of the Poly Mustangs. 56 all Big West players. You've had 3 Olympians on your coaching staff. You had Ali Carta, who just played in Japan and won a silver medal. You had Sierra Highland, who played with Mexico, and that was super cool to watch her. And now Michelle Granger, who's been on your staff, but she's actually now an official member, a paid member of your staff. 3 Olympians in a row to help you with your pitching and all of the kids. How important has that been to you to get someone so high quality with so much experience?
Well, it's so great. They've been in the cooker at every level, and they know exactly, when the nerves come and when the big plays come and the big pitch that needs to be done, and kind of how to calm yourself in those big moments. I think that it's really important to have someone that's been exactly where they have been at the highest level to help give them some insight. So it's been super helpful.
I think it's really cool because I think when it comes to recruiting, it probably helps too, doesn't it?
I think so.
I mean, you're amazing. You're amazing, and you're probably the only reason people want to come to Cal Poly, but it does help to have Olympians on your coaching staff. She's Jenny Condon from the Poly Mustangs. They are off this weekend before heading to San Jose next week for a tournament. I hate to say 0-5 on the air because I always give the record. That's just what we do in radio. She has her 2-5 Mustangs, her 8-1 Mustangs. 0-5 after your first weekend, a tournament that wasn't easy. You played some incredible teams. You're playing ranked teams in Stanford and Arizona State and UCLA just in your first couple weeks of the year. What do you learn after a weekend like that when you go 0-5?
I think we learned a lot. The one thing that we learned was that this team's going to fight. They're going to compete till the very last pitch. We made a lot of physical mistakes, and those are easy to clean up with practice and repetition. So, obviously it's disappointing, but usually that first weekend out, we call it data building. We're just getting all sorts of data that we can take back, and we've been back the last 2 days. We've had the 2 best practices we've had all year.
Oh, good.
So we could go 0-5, and they could come back and feel sorry for themselves, or they could come back and say, okay, here's the list of things that we need to get better at, and let's tackle them. And that's what we've done, and they've really responded to what we've asked them to do. So I'm excited.
Best coaches always find something good out of a bad weekend. Something, their quality, there's something redeeming. So when you look back at the weekend, what are some of the highlights that are giving you good feelings about what comes next?
I think we hit the ball really well all weekend. Some statistically, we had great numbers. We had the Big West Freshman Player of the Week.
I saw that, Jessica Clements.
Yep. So that was fun. And she's coming off a year-long rehab of an ankle surgery. And so she hasn't played for 2 years. So her first time out to get the Player of the Week is pretty impressive. So I'm excited to see what she does the next 4 years for us.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That's
and then, overall, we hit the ball a ton. Even when we didn't get hits, we hit the ball hard. So from the offensive side, we executed really well. We saw some bright spots in our pitching. I think we can definitely get better there. And our defense, we're going to get better. We had a lot of young kids that hadn't played before. So they got their feet wet, and they realized that the pace of the game is way quicker than travel ball. And I think that they're going to make that adjustment and step it up. And so I'm excited to get back out next weekend and see if we have truly made those changes.
Next weekend at San Jose State, a classic. You're playing 5 more games, opening up the Big West season against Northridge in the middle of March, but the Mustang Classic is coming before then. And then you open up on a Wednesday, March 9th, doubleheader against Penn. When you look at you mentioned it yourself, when you look at the roster, is this one of the youngest teams you've ever had?
I think we've got a mixed bag.
Okay.
So but we have a lot of young players starting. So in the past few years, we've had freshmen that maybe got to see the game develop and see it from the bench. This year we had three or four freshmen start the first game, and they jumped in, and they will get the experience, and they're going to continue to get better. So we're mixed with youth and experience, and I think that's going to be. Yeah. I think that's going to be helpful. And our upperclassmen, our seniors, have really done a great job, leadership-wise, working to bring the kids along and the freshmen along, and really set the standard of what it looks like and what hard work looks like.
She's Jenny Condon from the Poly Mustangs, beginning her 18th season as the head coach, most successful coach in Mustang softball history. I saw Christina Allman is your leader right now as pitcher. You've got Paige Mayer and Kate Judy as well. And I look at that and you see, and I cover baseball more than I do softball, and you have 10, 12, 15 pitchers when it's baseball. But you don't have a lot of pitchers. And on a weekend when you have 5 games, how do you keep those 3 women fresh and healthy?
We have Danielle Reyes, so we've got 4 pitchers on our staff. Honestly, if they can pitch ahead and get, throw strikes, the more pitches that they throw, the more tired they're going to be. So, if you're walking a lot of batters, we're going to struggle.
Right.
The weekend's going to be really long. Yeah. So if we can be efficient with our pitching and, hit our spots and get the opponents to, chase bad pitches or hit ground balls, really. I mean, if we can get a 5-pitch inning, that would be great for us. So we just try to be efficient.
How often does that happen, a 5-pitch inning?
I think it happened once this weekend with us.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
She's Jenny Condon, head coach of the Poly Mustangs softball team. It's 50 years of Title IX this year, and it's a big deal. And we weren't alive. No, we were little people. But you and I have been very lucky. We have had blessings come to us in our lives because of Title IX. You coach women. You've been around coaching women for a long time. Do you think that they realize the significance of what Title IX has done for women in sports?
I don't. I think that definitely they take it for granted, which I guess is a beautiful thing. They don't know any differently. And then we'll talk about stories about like when we played and, we didn't have buses. We had vans and we had to lay across the bags. And, sometimes people had to buy their own uniforms, and like just where it's come from and where it is now, for them, it's amazing. It's almost like they're, it's like the olden days black and white movies to them. They don't know any differently.
So true. Pat Summitt talked a lot about what she did as a young coach coming in. And I mean, her legacy is incredible. And some of the things that she did with the driving the kids places and buying them stuff. And now here we are with scholarships and sponsorships with big companies. And it's such a blessing. It's sort of like I talk about Jackie Robinson all the time, and I want people to keep the legend alive. I think it's really important for young people to know what it was like before. I mean, we were teeny, and we got to enjoy the fruits of that. But I think hopefully we're going to have some celebrations around. And I saw it at the Super Bowl. I think it was kind of a half-assed way to do it. But they brought Billie Jean King out, and I love her. But sometimes I think, okay, if you're going to do it, do it. But we'll see. So hopefully you'll get to spend some time celebrating that. She is Jenny Condon, head coach of the Cal Poly women's softball team, off this weekend, then on the road at San Jose State. The first time you get to see your Mustangs is the home opener on Wednesday, March 9th, a doubleheader against Penn. Coming in, injuries, I always like to know, is everyone healthy? What does it look like moving forward in that?
Yeah, we're pretty healthy, knock on wood.
Yes, we will.
So we look good. We've got 21 on our roster. We are pretty healthy. We've got some good depth at some different positions. And, like I said before, I think offensively is where we're going to really excel. And I think that's going to help take some pressure off the pitchers and the defense. And, hopefully we can put some runs on the board and be a little bit more exciting to watch when you're throwing runs on the board.
You have some new stuff at your facility that people may not know about. Right, and you've got hopes for some more. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we just got, we've had some great alumni support. The last few years, we've got a new hitting facility. I guess it's not super new, but it's like 3 years old.
It's new.
It feels new, especially since COVID.
Right.
It's new to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then we've got, we had an alum who donated new padding for the outfield wall and the home, behind home plate. So that makes it, it looks way better and it plays more safely. And we're just looking to do some more improvements, and hopefully someday we'll get some new places to live.
She is Jenny Condon, and you say alumni gave this, alumni gave that. And you've worked at a lot of schools. You've worked at and you've gone to school in Iowa. I've not seen an alumni group like yours. I mean, for the alumni weekend, the you can't fit them in the shot anymore. I mean, bigger and bigger, the photo of all these women that come back and they bring their families. How do you do it? How do you keep this Cal Poly softball team so connected?
It's a testament to the school. It's a testament to the program. This program was here long before I came, and the players and the former student athletes had a great experience, and they met lifelong friends, and they got a great education. And just like Title IX, they see things just getting bigger and bigger, and they want to make it better, and they want the next generation of kids to have a better opportunity than they had. And it's really kind of cool because we've got some players now that their moms played in the program.
Oh, come on. That's so cool.
It's really a special place to be. And, I'm really proud of that because you want to make sure that when your student athletes are graduating, this is a place that they want to come back to when they're done. And from the looks of it, and when we get our alumni game and we've got 40, 50, 60, 70 alumni returning, then we're doing something right as a university and as a program.
Well, and on the road.
Yeah.
They show up for you. I mean, is there a game or a tournament that goes by where there's not somebody that played for Cal Poly that shows up at one of those games?
I don't think so. Rarely. No.
It's nuts. It's so cool. And you don't hear about that everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's not just you. It's the program before. But you have been there 17 plus years. So you got to take a little credit. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
I wish you the best of luck this season. I hope you have a full season with a full roster of healthy, uninjured players. And I think we have a few overlapping weekends this year with baseball and softball, which would be really cool. It's really exciting. So if you want to check out the Cal Poly softball schedule, go to gopoly.com. You can also find the weekends where you've got Poly baseball and Poly softball at the same time, and the energy at Bob Jansen and Baggett at the same time. There's nothing like it. There's absolutely
it's super
nothing
fun.
like it. Good luck. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. She is not only a good friend of the program, but she's a good friend of mine. She's head coach Jenny Condon. It's so crazy. I didn't even say everything that she's done. 3 gold medals at the U.S. Olympic Festival. She even got a gold medal in team handball. I forgot to ask her about that. And she went to Iowa State, and she's just turned it on for the Cal Poly Mustangs. Coming up, a little bit of community for your listening pleasure. You know how I feel about us staying together, finding our heart, finding a way to work together, finding a way to continue to move forward in equality, for equality and equity, and continue to become one and to unite. And we're going to talk more about that with the founders of SLORoll. The SLORoll community is an initiative all about getting together, having fun, rolling, dancing, singing, and supporting people from all walks of life. It's a CJ Silas Show. In case you miss it live, you can always go to thecjsilasshow.com. Check out the website. You can find everything there. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and not much more Twitter, because I'm breaking up with frickin' Twitter on my 10-year anniversary, and it's so exciting. But unfortunately, the kids now, they want me to join TikTok. No! It's a CJ Silas Show on ESPN Radio 1280 AM and FM 101.7, The Ticket.
Welcome back to the CJ Silas Show. From her perch atop Madonna Mountain, let's hear it for CJ Silas.
Welcome back to the CJ Silas Show, the Cal Poly Sports Update. Lots of excitement. You heard about Cal Poly softball. They have the weekend off, and then they're at a tournament in San Jose State next week. Baseball opens up their season hosting Washington this weekend. The baseball team is a preseason number 4. Basketball, men's is the team's 5-17 overall, 1-9 in the Big West. Next up, they take on Davis tomorrow. Women's basketball got their first road win over CSUN. Maddie Vick had 15 points and 5 assists. They lost to Santa Barbara, and next up, they're hosting Davis. Tomorrow, men's tennis beat LMU, their 3rd straight win. They're hosting San Diego State. Then they got their 4th straight win, and that one next up, they're on the road at UNLV. Women's tennis beat San Diego. Delaney Dunkel, local. Delaney Dunkel and Melissa Lamette, they got a win. They're now 4-1. The women's tennis team is 3-3. They won all singles matches. Next at San Diego State, they lost, and now they're hosting Davis coming up. Golf took 6 at the show in Vegas. Wrestling 1 on Senior Day versus Air Force and CSU Bakersfield. Next up, they're taking on Stanford. Cuesta men's basketball lost twice to Allen Hancock College in 3 days. Next up, the Cougars take on Moorpark. That's tonight. They're 10-14 overall, 5-3 in the WCC. Softball lost a doubleheader to Sac City at Cuesta. They're 5-6. Baseball had a comeback, but they lost to Sequoias. Next up, they're at Ridley. They're 2-8. Men's swimming was at Ventura. They're at Cypress for their first WCC meet of the season, as well as the women. And Hancock College, the women's basketball team, had a season sweep of Cuesta. They're 14-11 overall, 6-4 in the WCC after beating Santa Barbara. Next up, they're hosting LA Pierce. Softball lost 2 at Riverside. Next up, they're at LAVC tomorrow. Swimming, the men broke 7 school records at a tournament in Cuesta, and they're taking on Canyons Friday. Track and field, they're at the Battle of the Regions in Bakersfield. Men's basketball at Hancock, 6th straight win. They beat Santa Barbara. Next up, they beat Moorpark. Baseball, they just took it to the house against Taft yesterday. I was at that game, obviously, because I'm the announcer, and they beat Taft 17-5. They're hosting Bakersfield tomorrow at 2 o'clock. They had 18 hits in that win against Taft. They're 5-3. If you want to, you should come out to Allen Hancock College to watch some baseball. I had to get through that quick because I wanted to get to my first guest. My first guest and my last guest, my best guest.
In the house.
Okay, yes, hello.
What's up?
Hi, Kevin. Do you want me to call you Kevin or DJ BrothaC?
You can, either one doesn't matter to me.
I just call you one of my NAACP friends because that's where we first met.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dottie made Doomsday. What do people call you in the SLORoll community? Dottie?
Just Dottie.
Okay. Dottie made Doomsday and I've been playing roller derby together for, I hate to age us, over 15 years.
Yep.
So crazy.
It is.
Y'all
Welcome
ain't
in.
You guys
Thank
are
you for having
old.
us.
It's all
What-
good.
Listen. Aren't you the one who's just about to get married?
Yes, that's true.
As a grandpa.
And I'm a grandpa. Yeah.
Welcome in. Thank you for representing the 49ers. I know it wasn't the best way to end the year, but it was a good year.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. They are 2 of the founders of the SLORoll. It's a community initiative. You can find them at the SLORoll. You can find them also at theslowroll.com. They are a nonprofit, and they're dedicated to uplifting our community through creativity, true roller culture, and physical activity. I want to get back to the basics because I know you're really getting it together in 2022. You started off from your heart. You started literally grassroots. And now as I look at your whole platform, social media, everywhere, you really have it together. But I want to go back to how it started. The moment that you guys were talking, you and some of your friends, Dottie, and then how Kevin got involved. So, Dottie, will you start?
Yeah, so, we started, we've been skating for a long time. The pandemic, everyone was tired of being on lockdown, that very first lockdown that we all experienced. In my lifetime, that was the first time.
Yeah.
Everyone was pretty traumatized with it. We just wanted to go out. We were tired of, being cooped up in the house. We had this little Bluetooth speaker. And we just went to the local rink and we just started skating. And we realized that there had been people behind us. And we thought, we wanted to keep the social distance. So we skated faster. And then they skated with us. And then we skated faster. And they skated with us. And eventually they were trying to hear the music. They wanted to skate and they wanted to hear the music. So this is where we bring in my friend, longtime friend, DJ BrothaC. Yeah. We're like, we need someone who has a better speaker, number one. And
who's a professional.
Yeah, who's a professional? Because I like the music that I like.
And whenever we've done Bob Jones in our years and years of skating together, you were always the one that had the music.
Gotta have the music.
Always the one that had the music. And then Kevin got involved, and you were just, hey, I'll come and play for you. And what motivated you?
Actually, the same thing that was happening, and this is how I actually got involved. So during that whole pandemic thing, me and a friend, on Facebook, were like, why don't we get in our cars and just cruise on a Thursday night? And it started the slow cruise night. So she had heard about that, and then she's like, well, what else do you want to do? I know you DJ and you got nothing to do. You want to just come out here? And I was like, yeah, I can use it as a practice session. And sure, no problem. So I brought my gear and came and we played, and actually, the first night was fun. It was a lot of fun.
And it wasn't really organized. It was just, hey, let's all get together. And did you ran into some problems, right, with the city after the first one where you weren't allowed to do it? What happened there?
That was just all bad timing with COVID coming out of lockdown officially, when the governor let us all out of our house. And there was still an issue where the city was not issuing permits.
Got it.
They just didn't really, I don't think they knew that there was going to be any need for it. And, obviously the city had other things to worry about besides trying to issue a permit for a hockey rink. So there was a little bit of a rough patch at the beginning, but we're all on the same page now.
Good.
We work great with Greg and Devin at Slow Parks and Rec. We work great with Kathy and Madison at Grover Beach. We work great with Jennifer and Atascadero. Those are so far the only rec departments that we've been able to work with because they're the only places in the county that really have
a space. And let me tell the CJ Silas Show listeners, because when I don't have work stuff to do, I'm at these events. And it's not just about skating, but it's about space for everyone to relax. If you don't skate, you want to come and have a barbecue. You want to have a picnic. You want the kids there. You want it to be safe. And then we've got jam skaters, which if you don't know what that is, it's skaters that they're dancing in their skates. And they need a space. And sometimes it's in the middle of where everyone else is skating in circle, like old school roller derby rinks. But if you look at some of the spaces in our county, none of them are really big enough except Grover Beach, Atascadero, and San Luis Obispo. And that was another reason why you've created this SLORoll, is because you're trying to find a way to create more space.
Absolutely. As, derby, right? We've played in this area for a long time, and, I thought it was just an issue with finding a place to hit people and have practices, like maybe they didn't want roller derby around. It was too much of a liability. But as we started doing the SLORoll, we started finding that there really is nowhere. It wasn't even just a roller derby thing. It's just a whole thing. If you want to go to the skate park and have aggressive skating, there's tons of $1 million parks that you can go anywhere within 2 hours, including our own San Luis skate park. But, either way, 2 hours, and you can find a $1 million skate park. To try and find someplace safe to teach your kids how to skate, we were finding that was an actual issue that we didn't know. So we uncovered that, and that is how we got into the nonprofit reign.
She's Dottie Mae Doomsday, and he is DJ BrothaC. You can find them at the SLORoll and also at thesloroll.com. You can also find him at BrothaC if you are interested in his amazing DJ skills. He's also...
Actually, you can find me at connectthecoast.co.
Connectthecoast.co. Okay, good. I don't know why I don't have that, but awesome. And one of the things that you say on your website, but I can also feel, is the vibe of the people, the diversity at this event, and ages, sizes, sexuality, races, everything.
No discriminations.
It's so incredible. And for San Luis Obispo, I think you grew up here. Didn't you grow up in San Luis?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's really shifting. I mean, slowly, because it's not, let's be honest. We're not going to act like this is a very, right. Let's be honest. We're not going to act like this community is diverse. But the people that come to the SLORoll tend to be the most diverse people I've seen at any event.
Absolutely.
And this is part of your reasoning for uplifting the community and keeping everyone together. Why is that so important to you? You want to start with that, Kevin?
Sure. Well, it's important because, one, it's nice to see faces, whether it be white, black, green, yellow. It doesn't really matter. It's nice to see people out there, faces, people that don't know how to skate, learning how to skate, people that are pros and they're just out there having a good time, encouraging other people to get up and, skate with them, or even seeing, like when you talked about earlier, just seeing families. Like when we were in Grover Beach, there was a lot of kids that were skating, and there's a lot of moms and dads just relaxing, enjoying the weather, eating the vendor's food or the Girl Scout cookies, or checking out whatever is going on. And that's good for our community because, one, it brings families together. Like, he's like, hey, did you hear about the SLORoll? Oh, I don't. No, yeah, where's it at? So then all of a sudden you have, family A, B, and C there with their kids. They're either skating with the kids or they're just sitting there chilling, and it gives the kids of this whole demographic something to do. And so, basically what the YMCA was supposed to do back in the day, which is to keep them out of trouble or give them a space to enjoy life. So this is a space to enjoy life. You come out there. I'm playing music of all different genres, and cultures or whatever, and it's censored, so don't trip everybody. Not the club.
But we have the professional.
Yeah, well, and there's young children.
Yeah.
And that's another thing about it, and I don't mean to interrupt you,
No.
is the diversity of skating levels.
Yes.
You don't have to be a badass skater to come. And when the families come and their 6-year-old, it's their first time on skates, there's a safe spot for them to skate and be in this community. And there's people dress up. And you, Dottie, this has really become your life. I mean, this came from your heart, and it's just so beautiful. So tell me, what's next? When's the next Slow Roll event?
The next SLORoll event, so we actually have some surprises planned. I
Really?
can't give out all the details.
No, okay.
I wish I
Roll, please.
We
wish
only
I
have a couple
could.
minutes left, so
Yeah.
give us what you can.
So we have a March surprise and an April surprise.
Oh!
You'll need to follow us on social media.
Okay.
Or shoot us an email to get
Okay.
the information on that.
Tell me the email you want them to send to you.
TheSLORoll@gmail.com.
Okay, the Slow Roll.
And then the next planned community event is going to be Saturday, May 14th in San Luis Obispo. And it is our Star Wars theme.
Ooh.
It is called May the Roll Be With You,
So
Part 2. And it's
I love
called
it.
Part 2 because last year that was the event that was canceled.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh
and
my gosh,
That was
yes.
during that whole time when we were coming out of lockdown
Yes.
last year around May. So,
Yeah.
Part 2,
Okay, and so the March, do we have the date of the March one? Can we at least?
March 5th.
March 5th
I
is
will
the
give you
next
March
Slow Roll
5th.
event. They're always on Saturdays.
Yes.
And they're once a month, and you've got to follow the Slow Roll on Instagram. You're also on Facebook.
We can give him a hint.
Give a hint. Give a hint.
We can give a hint.
Okay.
March 5th from 11 p.m. to 3 p.m. We're going to jam on it.
Jam on it. Jam on it. Jam on it. Okay, cool.
Here's some water.
Oh, okay. She is Dottie Mae Doomsday. They call her Dottie. He's Kevin Stokes. They call him DJ BrothaC. They are two of the founders of the Slow Roll, a community initiative. You can find them on all social medias. Skate, love, and good vibes only. That's one of my favorite things. The Community Betterment Project on the Central Coast. And we don't have time, but I want you to come back. I want to talk about, the resurfacing project for Paulding and the digital attendance badges. We don't have time because this was so amazing and quick. But will you come back next month? Let's come back and have you.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. We'll have you both come back.
Sure.
Because I think that this can be a place where you announce your surprises. It can be a place for you to just continue to share the message. Because it's not that easy to get all the other news organizations to give you every month. And this is what I want to do for you. So thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
The Slow Roll, so easy to find them, and I guess I'm super lucky because she and I have been roller derby sisters for a long time, and Kevin and I met at some of those first NAACP rallies when all this crazy stuff was going down, when we're starting to change the effing world, whether you like it or not. It's a CJ Silas show. I'm going to turn off my mic now. I'm out.
Thanks for listening to The CJ Silas Show. Find her podcast on thecjsilisshow.com. Follow her on all social media platforms, including her YouTube channel. Make an appointment to listen every Wednesday on ESPN Radio 1280 AM and FM 101.7. CJ out.